Egypt is home to some of the most spectacular wonders of both the ancient and natural worlds. From the almost impossible, impressive and awe-inspiring pyramids to the fearsomely beautiful Nile River and the powerful civilizations that rose and fell alongside its banks, Egypt is steeped in ancient beauty and mystery as old as the land itself. The marvels hidden within its lands date back to biblical times and endure to this day as a testament to the incredible power and technology of the Egyptians that we still don't fully understand. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 mysteries of Egypt. The Lost Labyrinth of Egypt. The impressive pyramids and massive structures that line the banks of the Nile River have long baffled historians and tourists alike, and we can only guess at how the ancient civilization managed to complete such enormous marvels of engineering. But this puzzlement does not stop at our own time period. Records of visitors professing their astonishment at Egyptian construction date back even thousands of years. In fact, some of these records indicate that at one point there might have been a structure even more impressive than the pyramids to behold. Many ancient visitors to Egypt described an incredibly sprawling temple complex that they referred to as the labyrinth due to its twisting corridors and hallways so intricate that one would only be able to successfully navigate the interior in the company of a knowledgeable guide. This labyrinth was documented in writings beginning in the 3rd century BC and continuing through the 1st century AD by ancient authors as well as ancient Greek historian Herodotus, who wrote of his experience visiting Egypt. This I have actually seen, a work beyond words. For if anyone put together the buildings of the Greeks and display of their labours, they would seem lesser in both effort and expense to this labyrinth. Even the pyramids are beyond words, and each was equal to many and mighty works of the Greeks, yet the labyrinth surpasses even the pyramids. The varying accounts, although occurring centuries apart, are all relatively consistent enough to allow us to paint a general picture of what the structure might have looked like. However, none of these accounts indicate whether the passages were maze-like as a deterrent to intruders or as a show of the wealth and power of the Egyptians. The labyrinth was said to contain over 3,000 rooms elaborately decorated with hieroglyphs and paintings of impressive beauty. Generally, descriptions indicate that the structure consisted of 12 complex courts surrounding an elaborate maze at the centre, with a roof made out of a single stone slab, a feat almost impossible to imagine even with modern technology and equipment. One aspect that is not agreed upon in the many accounts of this fantastical place is the reason for constructing such an immense project. Among the alleged purposes are a tomb, a temple, a gathering place for religious ceremonies, or simply a testament to Egypt's power and greatness. Although the many independent accounts leave no doubt as to whether such a structure existed, archaeologists have yet to find such a location, despite identifying several potential sites for further excavation. What did ancient Egyptians look like? Although it might seem safe to assume that ancient Egyptians resembled their modern-day counterparts, this is not necessarily the case and is a topic that has been hotly debated for many years. The current residents of the Nile riverbank are descendants of sub-Saharan Africans who migrated north, with dark skin and hair. However, depictions from the periods of powerful ancient civilizations show an array of skin and hair colours. Of course, the easiest way to answer this question is through DNA sequencing of remains from the period in question, but such a conclusive analysis was not possible until recently. This was largely due to the fact that handling and analysing ancient bones generally contaminates the sample so badly that it leaves more DNA than the sample originally contained, leaving it nearly impossible to distinguish the ancient genes from the modern ones. It's only been in the past few years that researchers have learned to distinguish the chemical makeup of ancient DNA from the modern contamination. This, along with the high levels of humidity and heat in tombs that are unfavourable for DNA preservation, has meant that researchers were not able to obtain a reliable sequence of genetic material that could answer the burning question of what the builders of the famous pyramids looked like. In 2017, researchers were able to obtain 166 bone samples from 151 mummies, dating from 1400 BC to 400 AD. From these samples, they collected viable DNA from 90 individuals, reliably completing entire genome sequences in 3 of these individuals. However, what they found was not what many people expected. Remarkably, the ancient DNA most closely matched that of the current occupants of the Eastern Mediterranean, including Turkey, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon. Although it is possible that other later civilizations of the Nile River Valley represented other modern-day regions, the residents of the time periods when these mummies lived, during the New Kingdom and Middle Kingdom when Egypt was controlled by Rome, were the early relatives of today's Near East cultures. Further sequencing revealed that modern-day Egyptians share far more of their DNA with Central Africans than with the ancient Egyptians, and that this change only occurred in the last 1500 years. Historians and researchers attribute this migration of people and their respective genes to either the trans-Saharan slave trade, causing the forced northward migration of thousands of native Central Africans, or the increased mobility and trade along the Nile and down within Africa. Where is Alexander the Great's tomb? Alexander the Great is the Macedonian king famous for his monumental empire that is still studied to this day as an example of military strategy and power. Inheriting the throne at the young age of 20, he proved to be one of the greatest military masterminds that the world had ever seen, and, with the support of his fiercely loyal soldiers, began expanding his reign into the largest empire of the time, spanning 3 countries and leaving dozens of cities founded in his name as a testament to his conquests. Alexander's life and reign have been meticulously studied, but one thing that remains a mystery is where the once great and powerful ruler was laid to rest. After only 12 years of often brutal but unparalleled rule, Alexander the Great's reign came to an end when he passed away at age 32 from a mysterious but fatal illness. Although the emperor was such an important figurehead of the day, the circumstances of his passing are rather mysterious, and nobody is certain whether he was poisoned or passed away due to a natural illness or complications of a battle wound. Regardless, Alexander's final resting place continues to elude historians and archaeologists, although there are a few facts that can provide clues in the hunt for the deceased ruler. Firstly, it is known with absolute certainty that he passed away in Babylon and was mummified to be returned to Macedonia. However, the procession was hijacked, and one of his successors, King Ptolemy of Egypt, took the body to the Egyptian city of Memphis, where the body remained until it was moved to one of his many newly completed namesake cities, Alexandria, the new capital of Egypt. Alexander was given an elaborate and stately burial, with a tomb covered in a layer of glass that allowed visitors to look upon the corpse of the once powerful ruler. The Roman Emperor Augustus recorded viewing the body during his visit in 30 BCE. But that was the last instance that historians were able to determine for sure where the body laid. Because of this, many believe that he is without a doubt buried somewhere in Alexandria, although the hunt is greatly hampered by the fact that most of what was then the important and royal areas of the city are now underwater, making it nearly impossible to search the ancient ruins. However, there are other commonly proposed theories as to the final resting place of Alexander the Great. Some speculate that he was buried in the Nabi Daniel Mosque in Alexandria, which has a deep enough basement that it would have been a viable place for a respected ruler's burial during the time period. Others believe that Alexander is now buried under St. Mark's Cathedral in Venice, Italy, having been exhumed by relic searchers who mistook his grave for the Gospel writer Mark. Many propose that he is actually buried on the oasis of Siwa, which is a beautiful place that was said to be home to the oracle Ammon, and was thought to be considered sacred by Alexander and the place that he truly wished to be buried. After having his body on display for his many followers and former subjects to pay their last respects to the powerful man, some think that he was exhumed and reburied on Siwa, per his supposed final wishes. One thing is for sure, that nobody is certain where Alexander the Great was laid to rest, and the search continues. Egypt's ancient history means that it holds thousands of marvels and secrets that remain a mystery to modern-day historians and students. The more that we learn of that impressive and incredibly advanced society, the more that we realize how little we truly know of ancient Egypt. But what do you make of these mysteries from Egypt? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.